characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids. Hello friends, I am Arian, and welcome to our channel, Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. Today I am going to tell you a story based on a terrible accident, and it is not a story of a lie, but the story of an accident that shook an entire plant. This is the story of an oxygen plant which is built in Ahmedabad, and the incident that I am telling you may be that the people of Ahmedabad may still know about that incident. If that incident happened 30 to 40 years ago, then people of that time will know this incident. And Shruti Mishra, a resident of Sirohi district of Rajasthan, has shared this incident with us. In fact, this whole incident happened in front of Shruti's father's eyes, because at that time her father used to work as an accountant in that oxygen filling plant in Ahmedabad, and she has seen this whole incident happening in front of her eyes. If he is done, he once told Shruti that he saw his eyes, and today Shruti has shared the same incident with us. Then there is an accident in that oxygen plant where 10 people are killed. Now, it was not only men, but small children and some women also became victims of this accident, now because they died inside that truck in a terrible accident, due to which their souls were also imprisoned inside that truck. It's wandering around us in this plant because no one believes in these things, and that truck was also started to be used again. But then one night there was something strange in that truck. Things happen, and seeing those strange things, the guards and the rest of the people there get very nervous. But here they ignored all these things again, and this was their biggest mistake. But when the incidents started getting more terrible, a CCTV camera was also installed in that plant to capture all those incidents, and later the CCTV footage was seen. He drenched everyone's faces with sweat. So let's hear today's story from the perspective of Shruti Mishra. Hello friends, I am Shruti Mishra, and you have come to know that I am a resident of Sirohi in Rajasthan. This story that I am going to share with you today is a true incident that happened about 30 to 40 years ago. It is very difficult to describe in words the horrific incidents that took place at an oxygen cylinder filling plant and the horrific incidents that took place there. It has been 30 to 40 years since that incident, but even today, those people who became part of that dreadful incident in some way or the other, that fear, the same fear and the same surprise still remains the same. And I also got to hear this dreadful incident from them. When we say that there are no things like ghosts, jinns, there are no souls, then some such incidents emerge in front of us that it is not possible to explain them. The story begins with an oxygen cylinder filling plant in the Adinath Nagar Odaf area of Ahmedabad. From there, oxygen cylinders were filled and supplied to a factory in Bhavnagar, in which the work of cutting old ships was done. For this work, many workers of different categories also worked in that plant. Some of them had the job of filling gas, some of them had the job of cleaning. And some workers used to do the work of loading and unloading oxygen cylinders, that is, loading fill cylinders from the plant in a truck and going to the factory in Bhavnagar in the same truck. Unloading the cylinder and loading the empty cylinder from there in the same trucks and coming back was a daily process. Many trucks used to go and come from that plant. One such day, a truck came out of that plant, a total of 10 people, including 5 laborers and a laborer's family and driver with oxygen cylinders. That truck left the plant around 10 o'clock in the morning and in the evening. Around 4 o'clock, the empty cylinder returned with the laborers. Among the 10 people in that truck, there were also 2 children. One of them was the son of the laborer, one of the 10. The other was a 12-year-old woman whose age must have been around 25 to 30 years. The driver's age was around 40 years. There was also a 50-year-old man. Among them, the rest of the other laborers were of the under 40 judge. Due to the fatigue of the whole day and eating food, they felt like resting, but there was a cylinder in the truck. Because of this, there is not enough space for a person to sleep there. But the laborers are laborers. They make some arrangements, but sometimes they are bent on killing themselves. I don't know if the oxygen cylinders kept in the back of the truck were empty, so those workers placed one on top of the other and set them in such a way that a lot of space was created behind the truck where they spread their sheets. Although despite being empty, the oxygen cylinders are very heavy. Putting such a jugaad together was like feasting on death. Something similar was going to happen to those laborers that day, oblivious to which they were all resting. The truck had left the factory and had covered about half the distance towards its destination when suddenly there was a loud explosion and the entire highway was jammed due to the scattering of oxygen cylinders here and there. The truck collided with a big trailer which was standing on the roadside, due to which the front part of the truck was damaged and the driver died on the spot. On the other hand, due to the collision, the cylinders stacked one on top of the other, rolled on the bodies of the workers sleeping nearby, and were scattered here and there on the highway like a roller. Due to being buried under those cylinders, those workers died on the spot, and the death was also so painful that even the dead bodies of those people were mixed together. I can't even tell you more than that. You guys understand for yourself how terrible and horrible the scene must have been. Due to that accident, the highway was jammed. At that time, the national highway also used to be signal. Facilities like 4 lanes, 6 lanes. There was a huge jam on the highway on both sides. It was not so easy to remove those heavy oxygen cylinders, stained with blood and flesh from the road. Well, along with the local administration and police administration, somehow the jam on the road was opened and the way was cleared a little. Then the owner of the cylinder filling plant in Ahmedabad was informed about the accident so that somehow the dead. The next morning, those blood-stained oxygen cylinders were brought to the plant in another vehicle, where the workers had a lot of difficulty. Those cylinders were cleaned with the help of big water pipes. Those cylinders were washed. The truck was also sent to the service center. Everything was fine, but those 9 laborers and the 10th driver were no longer in this world. Just that one moment and everything is over. The life of those people, the personality of those people, everything is over, but he says not after life. There is also a life which exists in this world, but like the air that is out of our eyes. That other world is present everywhere in this world, but still it is away from our eyes. There is no clear evidence of its existence, but those who have encountered such things are witnesses to this. When a person becomes a premature death with many of his unfulfilled desires in his mind, then he remains stuck in a time form. Even after death, he repeats all the same events again and again, which he had never lived or had died before his death. It was minutes ago. Those people were dead. Their personality had also disappeared, but there was still something left, maybe even after death. The personality of a human being does not disappear so easily. Even those people did not erase. The body was finished, but the soul is still alive. But there was a desire to live a very turbulent life. There were many dreams in the minds of those people, many responsibilities which were yet to be fulfilled. Even a moment before death, they would be thinking about all these things, what to do, what they have done, and what is left. Someone's daughter's marriage was pending. Someone's parents were left alone in old age. Someone's wife became a widow, and the entire family of a laborer was wiped out. His entire personality was erased from this world. Children who had to grow up and do something good. For his parents, but both his dreams and life ended at the same time. Just imagine how restless those souls must have been. How much agony those souls must have been. Some time has passed since this accident happened in their minds. Now the memories of this accident started to fade from the hearts and minds of other workers of the plant. In the meantime, the truck was repaired and came back to the plant. The people sitting in it. The truck was now fine and was back to work. And the first time the watchman realized the plant was the same night the truck arrived at the plant. Seeing that someone was repeatedly turning the torch on and off in the parking area where trucks and vehicles are parked, it seemed that someone was repeatedly turning the torch on and off. Seeing this, the watchman called the watchman guarding the gate on the backside of the plant. Both of them dared to reach the parking place from where the torch light was coming again and again. When both of them reached there, they were surprised to see the scene in front of them. The light of the torch was not coming from any human, but from that truck, seeing the headlight of the truck themselves. At first, both of them watchmen. They were a little scared that what is happening all of a sudden, there is no ghost thing. Then they felt that maybe not the truck had an accident, due to which its front part was badly damaged. Maybe for the same reason, there is a minor problem even after servicing. There is no such thing as ghosts in it. Thinking of this, both of them relaxed, but at that time both of them relaxed. It did not occur to his mind at all that when the truck is standing closed, how the automatic lights are turning on and off. Just he felt that something went wrong with the headlight setting of the truck. That is why his light is turning on and off again and again. The next day he told this to the manager. The manager also took immediate action and informed the service center. He sent a mechanic from there. The mechanic came and checked everything, that there was no wire loose, or there was no touch with each other, but there was nothing anywhere. All the things were absolutely. It was fine, so the mechanic left. Everyone thought everything had been fixed. But that night the same thing was repeated, around 12 to 12:30 in the night, the watchman of the front gate. Again, a light was seen coming from the side of the parking area, just like it was seen on the previous night. That light was also being turned on and off again and again, seeing which the watchman was surprised. Somewhere in his mind, the thing started to arise that this light is probably coming from the same truck in such a situation. Even today he goes alone, and things he did not dare to look. So he called the watchman with the back gate, and once again both of them walked together in the direction of that light towards the parking area. This time while going that way, both of them had their minds. There was a strange fear in the body, but it was also necessary to go and see. So both of them move in that direction and reach the parking area. As soon as they reach there, seeing what they see, the lives of both of them are stuck in the circle because the same incident was happening, which happened last night. The light was coming from the same truck that they both looked at each other, and before they could do anything else and think about anything, suddenly there was a sound of horning from that truck. On hearing this, both of them were blown away. First the flash of lights, and now the sound of honking from the closed truck. This incident had shocked the hearts of both of them. While on the other hand, the sound of honking from that truck started getting louder, and on seeing that the truck started automatically without a driver, the truck in which so the driver was not there, nor the fuel. How could the truck suddenly start like this? Both the watchmen were completely saddened. They did not understand what was happening after all. But now maybe there more. There was more grief to be seen, seeing this strange, horrific incident. Both of them were looking at each other with puzzled eyes, fear in their eyes and a slight tremor in their body. Both of them were getting goosebumps. Their breathing was getting faster. Their hands and feet were swollen due to fear and panic, but still to see something more terrible. The rest was for both of them, which those two guards would not have imagined even in their dreams. Till now the daylight was turning on and off in that truck itself. Then the horn started ringing, then automatically the truck also started, and now the truck started moving. Without fuel, without the driver, the truck went straight toward the two guards, who were stunned to see them coming towards them. But despite this, both of them did not lose their senses completely in that situation, or say that both of them did not write death that night in their fate. So as soon as the truck moved towards both of them managed to jump to the other side in time, a few seconds away from them, which hurt their bodies but died. At the same time, the ghost truck could not succeed in crushing both of them and collided directly with the wall in front of it, which also damaged its front part. Both of them were so terrified by this horrific incident that with great difficulty saved their lives and run away saying, "Save ghosts." While going to the plant, they called the manager from the lead line phone installed in the plant. Hearing such an incident in the middle of the night, the manager of the plant also came under fire and reached the plant at the same time with one of his assistant supervisors. It had taken about 30 to 40 minutes to reach the plant from the residency area, so by the time both of them reached there, both of them had escaped from there to save their lives. Now there were no mobile phones in that era, which could be used to try to contact both of them. So the manager and his assistant supervisor went inside and started looking at everything. It was fine. There were no broken or scattered items, nor were there any other signs to indicate that there were many there. There was chaos, but as soon as both of them went towards the parking area, seeing the condition there, they understood that something must have happened there, As those two guards had told them on the phone, the truck was not in its place in the parking area. The truck was standing adjacent to the boundary wall of the plant at a distance of about 100 feet from its stand. There was no light, no fuel, no driver, no movement in it, no sound of honking, no other happening, so the question was becoming. After all, what those two guards said was true, or both of them were just shocked. But then it comes to the point that how can two different people be the same at the same time? Then whether the truck was really hunted or was it something else? Then when they saw that truck, well, they examined it, then found that seriously. The truck has collided with that wall and has stopped due to lack of way ahead. Its front part has also been damaged after seeing so many things with their own eyes. Both of them also destroyed the fuel tank of the truck. Seeing that the check was still completely empty, both of them were completely surprised. Somewhere in the minds of both of them, the matter of the truck being hunted. As soon as they came to John, both of them got down from the truck and came down and closed the gates and left from there. Alternately, they reached the house of the two guards so that they could understand and hear all the things correctly. But as soon as the manager reached the first guard's house with his assistant supervisor, he saw the scene there. The assistant supervisor, who was shocked in a way, had a similar situation because the guard who was on night duty last night and had left the plant at around midnight, now he is lying on the bed in the grip of severe fever in his own house. His condition was very bad. Seeing him suddenly suffering in such a high fever, his family members were also very upset because at night he had gone to work and had returned home in the middle of the night. And by that moment, his health had deteriorated so much that he was now almost unconscious. His body was still trembling. Seeing this condition of that first guard, both the plant manager and his assistant could not understand anything. They went to the house of that second guard to find out things. There was also the same scene, and the second guard was also in the same condition as the first guard. The manager does not understand anything. Then he called an agency that provided security services, from where he immediately hired two other guards and reloaded the truck. The truck was not in the plant that night, so those two guards did not have any such problem that those two guards had suffered, although those two guards had been working there for a long time. But before that, there was no such complaint with both of them that had happened to those people. And this was the matter of the plant manager himself. He also knew that after the arrival of those two new guards, there was no such complaint. Their night was well spent, and the manager of the plant and his assistant supervisor also breathed a sigh of relief. The next night also things remained the same. The next night also nothing happened. But now it comes. The next night means the third night. That night the truck had returned from the service center after repairing and was present in the parking area of the plant. Both the guards were giving duty at their respective places. Then the same scene started repeating. The guard on duty at the front gate was sitting on the chair and taking a nap. Then he suddenly heard the sound of a truck's horn, which broke his nap, and he woke up in a hurry. He did not understand where the horn of the truck that had gone so late at night was blown. He was trying to understand things that once again he heard the sound of the truck's horn. This time he was awake, so he heard that sound clearly. That voice was coming from the parking side. Hearing the voice, the guard looked towards the parking area. Then he saw a light coming from there. To see where this light was coming from, he went towards the parking area and saw that the light was coming from the headlight of the same truck, which was repaired and came to the parking area on the same day. Because the new guard did not know the history of that truck, he went close to that truck to see who was in the truck. He climbed on the truck from outside and peeped inside, and there was no one in the picture. The guard was completely surprised by this. Then he thought that the driver might have forgotten to keep it on, thinking that he opened the gate of the truck and turned off the headlight. He got down and started walking back to his cubicle when the headlight came on again from behind. Seeing that the guard was a little nervous, and he turned back with frightened steps. The headlight of the truck was on, and there was a driver sitting inside it who was constantly staring at him and blowing the horn loudly. Suddenly, in a few seconds, seeing the presence of the driver in that truck in front of him, the guard was badly scared because just a few seconds ago, he climbed into the truck and checked himself. There was no one in the truck, but now there was a driver present and in a very terrible form. Seeing that the guard's condition worsened, but before he could understand anything else, the truck started and very bad. He moved towards the guard with speed. Seeing him coming towards him, he ran away from there in a hurry. But alas, this time perhaps the luck of this guard was not good. He could not escape from that devilish truck and was hit by it. When he went, he heard a loud sound. It was a loud bang that came due to the truck hitting the wall. But even the gateman behind did not know this. The poor frightened man slowly filled his feet forward, calling the name of the watchman with the front gate. Came inside, Ramu. Hey brother, where am Ramu? But now Ramu would say something from where? When that other gateman did not see Ramu anywhere, he went towards the parking area looking for him, where he was shocked to see the terrible sight of the ground under his feet. Seeing the horrific scene of the parking area, his hands and feet were swollen. In front of him, Ramu was lying on the ground in a pool of blood, about half of whose body was crushed by that truck. And the truck went and stopped again after hitting the same front boundary wall. The lower part of Ramu's legs was completely lost and he was lying in a dying state. Seeing all this, the body of that watchman was numb for a while. He was not conscious of anything at that time. He did not even understand that he had come there in that parking area. Still, somehow, he gathered courage and reached close to Ramu and tried to handle him. Took his head in his lap as soon as he got the touch of that other watchman. Ramu's dead body, which was slight. There was energy left. He regained some consciousness, and in the shadow of the sinking eyelids while dying, he could only say this while pointing to that truck. He said that driver. Ramu's breath was out. He saw him dying in his lap like this. The second watchman, Paresh, was completely stunned due to fear and panic, as if the blood had dried from his body for a while, like this. After being stunned, when he regained some consciousness, he gathered courage and called the supervisor and told the whole thing. After listening to him, the supervisor was blown away. He immediately told the manager the whole thing. After reaching the plant, when both of them also saw the scene of the parking area, their hair trembled with fear. There was a shiver in their body and the situation was like this. On the other hand, the other watchman was sitting on one side with his back to a corner of the wall. Right in front of him, the other watchman was sitting distraught. The plant manager and supervisor went and handled the watchman and tried to find out what happened there. But the watchman did not see his eyes. He had not seen anything happening in front of him. He had come there only after hearing the scream of that second watchman and the sound of a loud explosion due to the collision with the wall of the truck. In such a situation, what would he tell them? Now the situation was such that the second watchman, Ramu, had died accidentally. That too inside the parking area of the plant. In such a situation, it was more important to inform the police. The manager called the local police station and informed the watchman's death as well as the agency from which he had hired the guard. In the meantime, the local police reached there. The manager from the security agency also reached the oxygen plant, seeing the condition of that place. No one could understand how all this happened. Well, the police sent the body to the city hospital for post-mortem by doing a panchnama. The police also questioned the other watchman, Paresh, who was present with him there. But Paresh had something to tell the police. Not only this, he was constantly saying only one thing, that he did not know anything. By the time he reached the parking area there, Ramu had an accident. His breath was almost lost. All he heard from his mouth was that he was pointing to that truck and the driver was speaking. Apart from that, he did not know anything about what happened there, how it happened. He came running there only after hearing the loud sound of the truck hitting the wall. But by then, it was too late after asking him when the police did not have any clue. Now the police were waiting for the post-mortem report of Watchman Ramu because somewhere the police were suspecting the second Watchman Paresh. They felt that Watchman Paresh had done something. He has crushed his fellow Watchman Ramu to death with a truck because by investigating it was now very clear that no person had come inside the plant from outside that night. In such a situation, who else can kill Ramu except Watchman Paresh because a truck cannot run on its own without a driver? And then what happened there? There was no one to tell the truth. Who was the victim? He had died and the witness had not seen anything happening. So the death of Watchman Ramu had become a big question for everyone. Soon a precise answer was going to be found when the plant manager called the service center the next day and asked him to take the truck to the service center. The owner of the service center refused to service the truck because his mechanic and workers believed that strange things happen in that truck at night. When the manager of the plant heard this, his mind went numb because of the same thing. because the beans were something like this. The two watchmen who worked there before Ramu and Paresh had told them on the phone, but then they could not understand much. But now they were understanding things a lot. So the plant manager told this to the owner of the plant. When the owner heard this, he also did not believe it, so he did not believe anyone around that truck. At the same time, he asked for a CCTV camera system from Germany by using his own sources because CCTV was not so prevalent in India at that time, so the owner of the plant had to use it. The owner of the plant wanted to know the truth behind the truck and the accidents related to it. So when that CCTV system was installed in the parking area of that plant, and later when its recording was seen, every person present there was surprised to see the video footage of the plant, including the police, to the owner of the plant. The truck was not starting on its own at night. Neither was there any person present in it, nor any signs of the presence of any person in the parking area. It was now clear that the truck had been completely hunted since that accident. Now it would not be free from danger to keep it in the plant for a long time. But now what could be done with that truck? It was bad and the service center was afraid to fix it, so it was not possible to sell it. Then there was strict instructions from the police that his life should not be endangered by selling that deadly truck to someone else. But now the question was what to do with that truck. The work was also being affected. The drivers of other trucks were also afraid that a ghost would come out of that truck and get into their truck, and they too would not get such a bad accident. He told this to his Guruji and also showed him the recording of the CCTV camera. When Guruji saw that recording, his senses were also blown away from around 12 o'clock in the night to around 12 o'clock in the morning. By 3 o'clock, and the truck starts on its own every day, its doors open and close, its headlight is on, off and off, and the truck starts running on its own. That too without a driver, without fuel. In such a situation, Guruji decided to take stock of that truck and that plant before taking any measures to solve the problem of that truck, and he reached the spot with the owner of the plant. When he first talked to the workers working there, he came to know what happens there. The workers working there told him that earlier the ghostly incidents related to that truck used to happen only at night, but now things have started happening in the day. Apart from that, many workers also told that they also heard the sound of small children playing, laughing and running with fast steps from inside the parking area. Apart from that, they had seen a little glimpse of the driver of that truck, around that truck. He was sometimes seen cleaning that truck suddenly. Those people sometimes hear the sounds of unloading the oxygen cylinder from that truck, and nothing happens on seeing it. In such a situation, every moment of those people passes in fear. They do not park their trucks in the parking area, they park their trucks in the empty lane behind the plant. After reaching the place where the truck drivers used to park their trucks with the manager, Guruji also inquired from them about that truck, and also asked why they leave the parking area and park their truck here. Then those drivers told that when they used to park their truck near that truck, many times they had to move inside their truck. It seemed that some children were running on the roof of the truck and making a fuss. We could not see them, but their voices were clearly heard each other. The driver told that once when he was returning after parking his truck in the parking lot, someone called him from behind, Hari Ram. After hearing that voice, I stopped and stopped. But it was the first time, so I felt that maybe it was my fault. But ignoring that voice, I went ahead again without turning around. Then that heavy sound again came to my ears. I resounded, Hari Ram, oh Hari Ram, I remember or forgot it, sir. As soon as I heard that voice, I recognized that after all, whose voice it was. Yet somehow I dared to look back and looked only a short distance away from me. But Ramlal was standing. Ramlal was the driver of the same truck, who had died a painful death in that accident. Seeing him in front of me, my whole condition worsened. Sir, I ran away from there with my feet on my head that I never turned around and went towards the parking area. I had also got my truck out of the parking area from another driver, in a voice trembling with fear. That driver narrated his own story and told that Guruji understood after listening to the words of all those workers and drivers. The souls of those people who died in that accident were also the most rowdy spirits of those two children, and the driver who was repeatedly making their presence felt by them, the soul of the children was fickle, and the driver had a good identity with other drivers and workers. So he was seen again and again by the people, that too in his terrible form. Apart from everything, one more thing was happening in that plant, and the deteriorating health of the workers was the day the plant manager said that the workers do not even go towards the parking area, but still the day someone suddenly falls ill, someone gets dizzy and falls, then someone gets hurt unnecessarily, due to which their work and blessings are being deeply affected. In such a situation, Guruji told them that if the presence of such negative forces is around, then all these things are very common. How to get rid of it, because after taking stock of that place, Guruji opened all the things in front of the plant owner and told that the souls of all those people with that truck, they are connected to those who died in that road accident. That means the souls of 10 people, and subduing so many negative forces simultaneously, they are not able to control them. They will have to contact a proven tantric. Only a proven tantric can do this work, but the owner of the plant did not know any tantric, so he asked Guruji to help him in this matter. Guruji contacted a well-known tantric through his contacts and apprised him of the circumstances when the tantric Acharya. When he heard all the things from the mouth of the plant owner's Guruji, he asked for that CCTV footage. According to his statement, all the CCTV footage related to that truck was sent to him, and the complete information about that road accident was also conveyed to that tantric Acharya. After studying all those things, he was ready to visit the plant. And with all his preparations, as soon as Tantric Acharya Sadanand Tripathi entered the plant, he did all this with the effect of his positive energy. All the spirits screamed, the energy had recognized the energy, and those spirits knew that now, the one who has entered that plant can become a time for them. So in an attempt to show themselves more powerful than Acharya Sadanand Tripathi, those spirits had lifted the whole plant on their heads. Big, heavy, low oxygen cylinders suddenly flew in the air and flew from here to there. Seeing this horrific scene, all the workers of the plant ran out of there to save their lives and ran away from the plant owner and manager. It was a bad situation, but now he had his own plant. Crores of rupees were involved. It was not so easy for him to run away from there, even for fear of death, while that tantric Acharya Sadanand Tripathi and the plant owner's Guruji were moving forward without any fear, because both of them knew very well that such negative forces definitely create such destructive obstacles. Under no circumstances can she tolerate any positive force around her, so she already had knowledge of this thing. But before reaching that parking area, she had to. It was not difficult for any human being to go alive through those huge oxygen cylinders diving in the air, and it was impossible for any person to go ahead alive through those heavy oxygen cylinders flying in the air, because that ghost souls knew that if Acharya Krishna Kant came to their area once, they would not leave him. They had created obstacles, but perhaps those souls had forgotten how limitless the powers of the person whose aura was so powerful would be those flying. Seeing the oxygen cylinders, the plant owner looked at his Guruji and said, "It is impossible to go ahead between these cylinders. Guruji, if we move forward, our death is certain." In a very tired and scared voice, he expressed his fear in front of his Guruji and said that the plant owner did not trust the strength of Acharya Sadanand Tripathi because he was not able to enter the plant. At the same time, the paranormal events had increased a lot, and they were still standing completely silent, watching everything. So the plant owner and plant manager felt that they were just in name. He is a famous tantric. He has nothing there but his Guruji. He had full faith in those tantric acharyas, and at the same time he also understood what was going on in the mind of his disciple. So he looked at the tantric Sadanand Tripathi and said, "Acharya, how will we move forward in this situation?" Sadanand Tripathi smiled faintly and then closed his eyes. After closing his eyes, he recited some mantras in his mind. So those people could not hear, but their lips were moving. This made them guess that they were chanting the mantra. They chanted the mantra in their mind for about 5 minutes and then opened their eyes. As soon as they opened their eyes, they blew a long blow in the air in front of them. The mantra power in their breath had such a deep effect that all the movement in that area was in an instant. The oxygen cylinders that had been flying in the air till now were all in their own place, where till now they had faith in the powers of Tantric Sadanand. There was no longer there. Now both of them had become their lovers in their minds. Now the path of those people was cleared, and they reached the place where the truck was parked very fast. As soon as Acharya Sadanand reached there, The truck, which was still standing, completely silent, started with a loud sound and moved towards them very fast. With the same intention and speed, just as he had hit that watchman Ramu, seeing that ghost truck coming towards him, the owner of the plant, his Guruji and the manager, all three ran and lurked on one side. But Acharya Sadanand stood completely fearlessly right in front of him, and the truck also came very close to him to hit him with his full speed. But Acharya did not budge, and this time he fixed the rosary of Rudraksha in his hands in front of the truck, due to which the spirit of the driver sitting in that truck was disturbed in the truck. Suddenly, with a jerk, the tantric came right in front of Acharya Sadanand Tripathi and stopped, seeing that the three of them came to life. But now there was more in front of them. The horrific scene was about to appear. That truck had stopped, but the ghostly driver sitting in it was now visible to all of them, and at the same time, seeing all the 9 people who died in that truck together in front of them. The condition of the plant manager and the owner of the plant worsened. He wanted to encounter all the phantom spirits as soon as possible, and according to the way he had challenged the powers of all those phantom spirits, now as soon as all those phantom powers appeared together, Acharya Sadanand took out the ashes of the crematorium from his bag and made a circle around that truck while chanting mantras, so that all those phantom souls were imprisoned in the same circle with that truck. And while trying unsuccessfully to scare those people, she was also laughing loudly in between, but it was no longer possible for them to cross that circle and come out. Sadanand knew that those phantom spirits would not allow him to complete his ritual, so he had created this whole drama so that all those phantom powers would come together in front of him and he could easily bind them in that bond of mantra power. After that, he started his ritual and performed a havan for about 1.5 hours, continuously chanting 1,25,000 mantras, due to which all those phantom spirits were killed. Their screams were echoing in the entire plant, and seeing this whole scene, the plant manager and the plant owner were blown away, where till now they were thinking that these things do not exist. Today they were listening to their screams with their ears, and were seeing them in agony in front of their eyes. But as the havan was moving towards its completion, the screams of those souls were also decreasing, and finally, with the conclusion of that havan, all those ghost souls were obscured by that truck. The ritual was successfully completed, but the danger was still not completely averted, so Acharya Sadanand advised the owner of the plant to destroy the truck as soon as possible, and said, "I have done my work. Now those phantom spirits will not harass you people. But it is very important to destroy this truck, eliminate it, because this truck has become the body of those souls. They like their body. They all have died prematurely, so they cannot get premature release. So as long as this truck is safe, existence is also safe. They will no longer be visible to you people. They will not even bother. But as long as this truck is present here, they will not go from here. And the presence of such negative forces also leaves many types of negative effects. It is good for everyone. As a result of the rituals I have performed, now they will not be able to enter here easily, and this truck is also tied in the bond of the ashes of the crematorium. So this is the right time." Explaining all the things to the owner of the plant, Acharya Sadanand said that after following the advice of Acharya Sadanand Tripathi, the owner of the plant decided to destroy that truck. But now he did not understand how to destroy that truck. Because it was an oxygen filling plant, fire could not be used under any circumstances. So now there was only one cure left. The truck should be cut into several pieces during the day and given to the scrap after completing its pursuit anyway. There was a lot of fear among the workers due to the presence of that truck, so it was necessary to erase the name of that truck. But it was not so easy to do this work, because even after the rituals were completed, the souls of those 10 laborers were still attached to that truck. There was a lot of fear of that truck among the workers, so all the workers were instructed to call some workers from outside the city, that no one came from outside to the truck. The history of the truck will not tell, because in the local area, the ghostly stories related to that truck had become so popular that no mechanic or any laborer was ready to touch that truck. So the laborers were called from outside, and with the hard work of 3 to 4 days, the whole purpose of that truck was given. Panic left behind many traces of fear and panic in the form of that truck, and eventually took the life of an innocent human being, Ramu, as well as selling that truck in Pungar. The owner of the tax plant was also cheated of lakhs of rupees. That is why it is said that where the negative forces reside, there can never be any blessing. Even today, when the people associated with that incident remember that incident, their soul trembles. But the reason for its closure was something else. The owners of that plant shifted it to Gandhi Dham after years of that truck. No ghostly incident ever happened in the film again, nor did the soul of any of those dead people appear to anyone again. Then, friends, this was the whole story that Shruti Mishra told us, and this whole sentence was seen by her father in front of his eyes, and after a long time, when Shruti became wiser, her father told her this story. Nature is that unless he sees something with his eyes, he does not believe them. But when such a strange thing starts happening, not everyone understands the reason for it, because he does not believe in these super unnatural things. But after the accident that happened in this plant, all the people working there started believing all these things. So if you have any relatives who always live that such ghosts are nothing, then definitely tell them this story. Share this story with them that see it in real life. It happens because we have not yet known the supernatural world in which souls roam. So friends, this was our story today. Do tell us how you liked the story by commenting. And those who have not yet subscribed to the channel must subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I, your friend, will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.